In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you an easy way to detangle and blow dry black hair. So she has 4B hair, a little bit thicker, and I'm using our We Unique Cosmetics pomade, focusing that on her roots and on her ends, as well as the rest of the hair shaft. Doing a little bit of light finger detangling as well. Keep in mind we finger detangled with our conditioning process, so it makes the actual detangle process a lot easier. So now I am combing out her hair starting from the ends, working my way up, making sure not to fight her hair, not to go crazy with the detangling, just because, especially if you are a newbie, you don't want to start at the roots, regardless of if you're a newbie or experienced hair aficionado when it comes to black hair. You do not want to immediately start at the roots and work your way down, because you will break the hair and you might even break your comb or something. Also making sure that I am combing out all the way to her root and from different angles, because a trick with curly hair is just because your hair is combed out in one direction doesn't mean that if you go on another direction or another angle that it will still be combed out in that space as well. Also, knots can go all the way up to the root, literally the root of the hair, so it's very important that you scratch the scalp. Also, that promotes circulation, a healthy scalp, and promotes growth within the hair. So now I am putting her hair in a loose braid all the way down, basically to the ends, to make sure that her hair stays detangled and separated, but also it helps with the drying process, because we are going to be doing a blow dry. This allows the hair to air dry. Now, especially if you are a beginner, I recommend that you part, like you see me doing, parting her hair into sections of 4 at a minimum, and possibly up to 8 sections, or even 12. The shorter and thicker the hair is, the more sections you're going to want to separate the hair in, especially if you are newer. Another tip you can use is using a form of conditioner or leave-in conditioner. For the purposes of this video, it fell on the ground, by the way, but I'm using regular conditioner, just a little teeny bit, to help me with the detangle process. It is not a necessity that you use this. It just, because we're specifically working with beginners in this video, it just helps the process. Now what you're going to want to do is separate that section again, like you see me doing, going back in with our pomade, rubbing it in our hands, massaging it on the scalp, and then working it through the shaft all the way to the ends. Once again, doing a light detangle, finger detangle, which is literally just separating and sectioning out the hair into different parts. And you see, I keep moving that piece of hair. You don't want to cross section hair. Like if you have hair that belongs in another part, you bring it into this section, it will cause more tangles down the line. Also, you just saw me tugging at her hair. I was pulling to see if there was any loose shed hair, which would make the detangle process a lot more challenging. Now, if her hair was incredibly tangled, like I said, we did a finger detangle before this, so it made it a little bit easier to detangle. But had we not, then I probably would have gone in with a wood tooth or bamboo comb, a wide tooth comb. But because her hair in the middle, and a lot of people of color have thicker hair in the middle, I am now further sectioning out the hair again, because no matter what, if you're having trouble detangling the hair, you want to make the sections smaller. You do not want to fight against the hair and fight against the grain and let me do this and let me just rake my comb through because maybe it's knots and I just need to work harder. No. If your brush or comb is not going through the hair, it means that you need to slow down and you need to make the parts smaller, the sections smaller. Keep in mind that her hair is wet, because this was freshly after a wash and condition. So that's another tip, to make sure that the hair is wet and saturated. You never want to detangle dry, curly hair, because that can cause split ends, that can cause unnecessary breakage, and it's just not good and conducive for the hair. Once again, you see me scratching against her scalp to promote circulation and growth, and it just feels good also. You'll also notice that even though I combed out portions of her hair, it still looks a little bit challenging to get the brush through. That's because with curly hair, it does tangle back up. That is also why I put the hair in braids afterwards, because if you just let the hair air dry naturally without being in a braid, even if you took 3.5 days to detangle the hair, it will tangle back up as it dries. So that is a very, very important tip. Do not let the hair air dry just because you detangled it. Make sure that you put it in a braid or a twist depending on the grade, because if you just let the hair air dry, I guarantee you there will be tangles, right like you never combed it out in the first place. Also, the hair can mat if it's left in that state for too long, and then you have a whole nother can of worms to contend with when the hair mats up. So just keep that in mind. Now we're on to the blow drying section. So I'm going to use our We Unique Cosmetics oil. All of our products are natural, organic products as well. Rubbing that in my hands and then going in with taking her hair out. It's always important that before you manipulate curly hair that you have some amount of product in your hands first. That helps with the detangle process, and it just helps to make sure the hair doesn't break, and it helps with slippage and allows you to do the hair a little bit easier. And you can see her hair has a lot of elasticity, which is why it has such shrinkage. Shrinkage is actually a good thing, so teach your curly girls to love their shrinkage. Now, I did not let her hair air dry for too long because we were on a time crunch, but if you're a beginner, I'd advise to let the hair air dry for a little bit, maybe like an hour or so, or even longer. For me personally, I like to let my hair air dry as long as possible because that makes my blow dry process a lot shorter, and it, for me, makes the process a lot easier as well. However, you can also go straight from wet to blow drying. You'll also notice that I'm using a blow dryer that's like a brush piece. It's highly recommended that, especially if you are a beginner, that you use a blow dryer that has an attachment piece of some kind, not a blow dryer and a brush, but a blow dryer brush or a blow dryer that has a comb attached to it that has a high wattage so that you can make sure that you are actually drying the hair. Now, one thing you'll also notice is that if you just dry in the large section, the middle of the hair might not get as dry as the outside. So what you're going to see, that's what it looks like now. So I'm going to separate those sections once again, using some clips this time instead of rubber bands. And then I'm going to blow dry those sections. And if you were to do a flat iron or something, the straighter you get the hair in the blow dry, the less heat you're going to have to use in the flat iron. And there's a difference. You can't just use a regular flat iron. We're not flat ironing in this video, but it's just something to note. You got to use certain products to get good results when it comes to African American and Black hair, African hair. You can't just use any common blow dryer or whatever that you find at the grocery store and expect to get good quality results. You have to use specific type of products. If you guys want a product list or recommendations that we use, let me know in the comments. So yeah, this was a quick tutorial. I hope that you guys liked it. I hope that it helped. Please let me know what other videos you guys want to see. And yeah, please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe, because it might just help somebody else learn how to do their curly girl's hair, build confidence, strength, and love through looking good. Because when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you look even better. So stay tuned for our next tutorial. And as you can see, it didn't take very long. This was We Unique Cosmetics, and I'll see you guys next time.